Hello, are you there?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I'm doing good.
All right. It's going to give you a chance to introduce yourself, and thanks for calling in. And yeah, we'll go from there, and we'll talk a little bit what's happening down in Chumash territory.
Cool. So my name is Maura Sullivan, and right now I'm calling from Berkeley, California, where I'm I'm a student here. But I'm actually from Ventura, California, so that is a little bit south of Morro Bay, where this is happening. This issue is taking place. Um, so I became familiar with this issue a couple weeks ago. We had our annual Tomol crossing to the island of Limu, which is Santa Cruz Island. And, we had a gathering there with, representatives and family and community from pretty much all the bands of the Chumash there. We had, from San Luis Obispo down to Malibu and inland into San Ynez. So the island crossing is really a once a year thing we do where people come together, and so our relatives from the north, the NCTC, the Northern Chumash Tribal Council, brought this to our attention. So that's when I became, involved with working on this.
And the it has to do with the water and what's happening to the the whales and the dolphins and all the life in the ocean. So we could talk a little bit about what's happening.
Absolutely, yeah. If people are on Facebook, there is a page called Stop the Diablo Canyon Seismic Testing. So even if in the search bar you can just put in Diablo Canyon, and then that's kind of become a place where we're sharing info. But PG&E has so what I'm aware of is that the power plant is at Diablo Canyon, which actually this is all, heritage, ancestral Chumash land there in San Luis Obispo there. So Diablo Canyon is sitting on a earthquake fault. So, with their reasoning is that with the recent catastrophe that happened in Japan, that they need to remap this fault, and remapping that fault involves detrimental decibel testing. So it's a seismic testing. The decibel testing involves air cannons that would be shot from boats, and this would happen between November and December, which they project to be months that are, because it's colder, they're thinking the whales and the dolphins aren't at their peak of migration, because that would be kind of more in the summer months. But, looking over their permit is actually open to the public, and I've looked over it, the permit, and it talks about, populations of different whales and dolphins. They've had to, by law, had to project which of these creatures would be affected. And, to quote from the permit, it says, unable to be determined or not determined in terms of the populations that would be affected. So even in their permit, it shows a lack of understanding that, these are possible communities that they're testing at 200 hertz, over 200 hertz, and that is something recently in Peru. If people want to do some, Google searching on Peru dolphin decibel testing off the coast of Peru, a lot of dolphins and whales, all these dolphins showed up beached on the coast of Peru, and someone went in and did autopsies on these animals, and they saw that the decibel testing, there was like blood in their ear canals, and it was they were connecting it to this decibel testing. So it's something that would affect. It's not just like it would affect November and December. We're talking about something that's going to affect the coming years if this were to happen. So right now we have an upcoming meeting in Oceanside, California on October 10th that we are trying to get people to attend. It is in California in Oceanside. I also have an email of someone from the California Coastal Commission who is accepting emails from the community. You know, we're really looking for letters of support right now. I also have an email for Fred Collins from the Northern Chumash Tribal Council, and his email is fcollins@northernchumash.org, and so he also can be contacted in terms of if people, you know, can think of different ways to help.
So it's Collins, Collins?
Yeah, F as in Fred Collins at Northern Chumash.
Okay, now that I have a better idea what's going on down there, so I wasn't so sure, so I'm really grateful for you to call in. But also, like, the frequencies that they're testing, they're shooting the cannon, and it's going into the ocean. And, I mean, that's an ancestral land, for one. But it's because the dolphins and whales and many other the marine life, their hearing is it's so much better than ours that the littlest thing could affect anything in their body. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's really damaging to them, even if they're not in that area, that they'll be able to hear it from like miles and miles out.
And right now, as it stands, the permit, PG&E acknowledges the damage that this testing is going to, it's acknowledged the damage, and it's had to apply for this permit, and it's had to show, these are the possible populations that will be affected. And even if a human was in the water, at that point, it's like, what are they thinking? This is something that, for us, when we do the Tamul crossing with our traditional redwood plank canoes, we're out there in the water. There's been so much activity. On YouTube, there's a lot of videos of the whales right now in Avila Bay. They are out in healthy numbers, and these are creatures that should be protected. PG&E says U.S. Endangered Species Act of 1973. It makes them apply for these permits to say that these animals will possibly be endangered. But for them, it's a sacrifice that, we need to map this fault. But really, they know where the fault is. We think that they need to use the existing information that's already about this fault. We don't think that they need to be doing this testing that's really going to render any living creature deaf. We're talking about whales down to the krill that the whales eat. This is an all-encompassing, this is a level of sound, like you were saying, a decibel level, that is just powerful. It's way too much.
So does it affect I don't know, I've never been in that area, so the coral and all the little species that you don't see.
That's what we're talking about too. Yeah, this is something that if animals were close enough, like sea lions, seals. I mean, this is really like in their permit too. They use wording where they say, "Oh, well, these animals, if they saw our boats, they'd be scared. They'd go away." And like, it's just they obviously don't understand the connection that not even the Chumash population, the surrounding community as well, are really disturbed about this. It's not just our native community. We have a lot of support from San Luis Obispo, Avila Bay, down to Santa Barbara. We've all really come together as a community to say that we need these animals. We need them. It's really a special thing to be out in the water in the middle of a dolphin pod and to see those babies jumping it's not just about applying for a permit and saying that, maybe 30 dolphins are going to be hurt. It's about realizing that there are populations of dolphins that live in our waters with their babies too. That this is a great population of animals that are going to be affected.
Absolutely. Is there any Chumash on the council at all? Did they even approach you to sit on the council for being advised? Because I'll say, like the folks up here, like Uncle Billy says all the time, we know these watersheds better than anybody, and we need to be advised.
That's pretty much what Fred Collins has been going to these meetings. He's been really calling for support because they haven't consulted. We're trying to do anything right now. We're trying to cite the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, UN DRIP document, that says, we demand to be recognized and to be consulted, and for them to realize this is really a fragile system. So no, we haven't. Fred has gone to these meetings. Oceanside, October 10th is another meeting. But going down to Oceanside, that's 4 hours from us. That's going to be a hard thing for people. So we've been trying to write letters. We're doing emails.
So people can write letters to Fred, and then he will bring them in. Is that how that's going, or do you have an address?
Right now, we have an email for a guy on the Coastal Commission who's been receiving emails from our community, and I can say his email now as well. He is Cassidy, CASSIDY .Tufel, TEUFEL, Cassidy Tufel, at coastal.ca.gov. And I'll post these up on your radio site too. And honestly, it's really just sending a small statement and of support to just really we also have an online petition that we posted it a couple days ago, and it already had 30,000 signatures within a couple hours of people saying, we don't want this. So right now we're doing what we can, but they kind of try to get this through and push it through and get it by us. Fred Collins, luckily, has been emailing and has been attending these meetings and trying to get support. I'm glad. I really do thank you for the chance, too, to just let you guys know that what's going on.
We all live on these waterways, the Pacific Rim. We're all connected. That's the one thing that what I'm trying to get across is whatever happens on the water happens on the land, and like this whole area. That's why I'm so. I was the other night just looking around and knowing that the Canadian relatives are fighting the tar sands and that pipeline coming down through, and to see all the coastal folks here all banding together, and they don't want that pipeline coming through, and we have to protect the water and all the little relatives that are in the water that don't have that kind of a voice.
Absolutely, because like I was saying, to be out there in the water, one of our words for dolphin is alakoi. And when we see alakoi, we all sing. We're all singing. It brings us to song. And it's, and the kids are learning about dolphins. And it's really something that, like you were saying, these creatures, they don't have the voice. They speak through us. They need us. So, and I think you're right. It's about community, too, different communities being affected. And we're going to use the radio. We're going to use the Internet. We're going to use phone to stay connected as community, because we need each other to know, hey, they try to do that to us up here. Hey, we're suffering down here. Let's get together. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. So, again, the email is fcollins at
northernchumash.org.
And the other email, we just say it a couple times so I get it in my head too.
Yeah, the other email is Cassidy2Fell, or Cassidy.2Fell at coastal.ca.gov. And he's actually been, he works for the Coastal Commission. He's actually been putting together a report to say that he, doesn't approve of it. He's kind of, in a way, he's been on our side about this. And so it's kind of cool to have a guy on the inside who is helping us and understands our position.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you taking time to share with us what's going on, and also if you send the information to me, I'll post it on a few places that I have to share it, and we'll get as many letters as we can, sign the petition, and we're gonna, all of us. I was just talking about this last night with changing of the seasons into autumn, and we're out doing prayers and out on the wheel at my mother-in-law's house, and just about, I'm just thankful for all the warriors that are on the front line, like yourself, in the Lakota territory, the white plumes that are stopping that pipeline for going there, all our Canadian relatives. There's so much going on, and we all have to work together to stop this madness that's that's hurting Mother Earth. So I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to share this with you and with anyone listening. Thank you so much for hearing our story.
All right. Well, again, I appreciate it, and hopefully keep in touch. We'll talk soon.